Hello, I'm a professional psychic and I'm here today to compete against a private investigator and an average person to determine who on our panel has seen a dead body.
I'm not confident at all.
I am not entirely positive that I can beat out maybe someone who's doing this professionally, but I'm pretty good.
Let's bring in our subjects. All right, how about you? Will you come join me? What's your name?
Dan.
Dan. Where are you from?
Florida.
How long you lived in California?
Lived in California since 2012.
So you saw a dead body.
I did.
Okay, tell me about that.
I haven't really told this story to that many people. I used to work for a company that delivered film equipment. Most of the work happens in Miami, so I would drive from Orlando to Miami. And on the way back from one of those drives, I was on the highway and we got stuck in traffic. My wife came with me on this one, my girlfriend at the time. We saw that there was a police barricade a few miles up ahead, well not a few miles, a few car lengths. We were waiting, trying to figure out what was going on, and then two cops come from the side of the grip truck that I was driving, flanked us, and they have their guns drawn. And long story short, I saw a man being shot by the cops.
When was this?
This was right before I moved, so about 2011.
The decedent was in a vehicle?
He was not. He was sort of bouncing between vehicles, like ducking in and out of traffic.
Okay.
We looked into it later, and apparently it was an armed robbery, and he had gotten away in a car.
The cops with the guns. Mm-hmm. So when do you see them again?
They came on either side of the truck. They kind of flanked the truck.
Driving or on foot?
On foot.
Okay.
And then people in front of us started coming, like popping out of their cars and like pointing, trying to direct the cops to the suspect. And then we would just see like heads come up in traffic, duck back down, heads come up.
Of what? Of police or law enforcement? Okay. So then you drive by and you say that's when you saw the body. So where was the body when you drive by?
That was on the right side, so the passenger side of the truck.
Mm-hmm. And just out there on the pavement? Or?
Out there on the pavement. It was raining.
So how long after the shooting did traffic get moving again, or did you pass by?
It was strange. It seemed like almost immediately they started to route cars around the body.
How'd you feel?
You felt sad for the person because there's just, without really knowing the context of the shooting, like you're seeing a dead person, like blood coming out of the mouth, on the side of the road with the rain coming down. It's like, that's a former person.
All right, well, I think I can move on for now, Dan. I appreciate you taking the time. Why don't you join me, please? What's your name?
Devon.
Devon. Where are you from?
I was born in Oregon, but raised in San Diego.
Only born, or first year in Oregon?
Like,
or?
first 4 years of my life in Oregon.
Do you live in LA now? Mm-hmm. How long have you lived in LA?
Man, it's been off and on for the past 3 years.
How old are you?
I am 26.
All right, tell me about your dead body.
I was 7 or 8, and I was visiting my aunt and uncle at their place. They're related by blood, not married. My aunt was making breakfast, and she told me to go get my uncle from sleeping. Knocked on the door to wake him up. He didn't move. I just assumed he was sleeping and just left. I figured he would rustle and get up later. It wasn't until my aunt was like, why is he not coming out? That I realized he was dead because she came out and was calling the police. So technically saw a dead body, didn't realize it was dead until a little bit after.
How old was he?
I don't know, I wasn't that close to him. I want to say he was 30 something.
Okay, where was this?
This was in Salem. We were visiting.
Okay, what time of day was this?
Morning.
Okay, what time of year was it?
It was probably winter. I just remember it was rainy or cloudy.
Okay, what was your uncle's name?
Harold.
Do you know how he died?
It was a heart attack.
So you knocked on the door, you kind of poked your head in, and then you left. Then what happened?
Well, basically, I just went back to the table for breakfast. It was pancakes, so I was excited. That was probably why I didn't pay that much attention. He hadn't come out for a few minutes, so she got suspicious, I guess, and went to check on him to see if everything was okay.
Did police come?
Yeah, or like the ambulance, like medics.
And how old were you?
I was 7, I think.
Okay. Can you walk me through what happens the rest of that day?
Well, my parents then came to pick me up.
Did they know, or they just came back from this other appointment?
No, my aunt had called them.
They found out, okay.
Yeah. We stayed there for a little while my dad talked to his sister. We were driving, and my dad was asking me a lot of questions while we were in the car, asking me about what I saw. Why didn't I say anything?
Was there a funeral?
Mm-hmm.
How soon after?
Probably like 2 weeks after.
Oh, okay. Did you go?
Yeah,
Did you stay in Salem the whole time?
I think we did. Yeah.
All right, well, I think that's all I need for right now, Devon. I might need you later, but thanks for your time.
Thanks.
What's your name?
Nate.
Where are you from?
From Long Beach, and then I live in Glendale.
Long Beach, Glendale. You ever go anywhere else? Go to school somewhere or anywhere out of state?
I've been to other states. I lived pretty much solely within like Long Beach, Los Alamitos when I was a kid.
Okay.
And then a year ago, I moved to Glendale from Burbank.
You saw a dead body?
I did.
What happened?
I was on a run, and I spotted a man in a ditch.
Where?
I was at Griffith Park on one of their hiking trails.
So you saw this guy in a ditch?
Yeah, it was kind of like a ditch. It was like down lower from the path, kind of where a bunch of like the foliage was.
Yeah, so can you describe the path? Because it's different.
Yeah, I was on, I don't remember what the name of it was, but I was on like, that was specifically like one of the 2-mile loops.
How did you notice this guy? What was the first thing you saw?
I got on the path and I was like, yeah, I'm gonna do this one's good. And after about like a minute or two, I was like, oh, this is much more narrow than I thought it was. And I look over and I thought I had seen like trash or something like that at first. And then I kind of like did a double take. And then I realized it was actually like a guy's torso. He's just like huddled up next to a tree, kinda.
Okay, so then what happens?
I freaked out.
Okay.
And I called the police.
Okay. How do you mean when you say you freaked out?
I started hyperventilating. I hadn't seen a dead body before then.
So you called,
I called 911.
and what was their directive to you?
They wanted me to tell them where I was and to describe what I was seeing.
So they got somebody there. Mm-hmm. So who was it?
It was 2 police officers.
Okay. And then what did they do?
One of them went to check the body, and then the other one stayed up with me and started asking me questions. And then the first one came back, and then they were both kind of talking to me for a little bit. After they got my like ID and my contact information, they told me I could leave, and they said they would call me later.
Do you have any idea how long the guy was there?
I found out that he was missing for about 2 days. They didn't want to tell me too much, but I ended up finding his obituary online.
What time of year was this?
January.
What year?
This was 3 years ago?
So 2016 or?
Yeah, like the very
2017?
beginning of 2016.
Gotcha. Cool, I think I'm good for now, Nate. Thank you. Well, I've interviewed the 3 subjects. They all present compelling narratives.
I'm ready to bring in the lineup and let the interrogations begin. Hello, I'm Mia. May I ask each of your names?
Dan.
Okay,
I'm Nate.
okay.
Devon.
Hi, Dan. I'd like to have you sit down for a moment. Nice to meet you.
Nice to meet you.
Okay. Have you ever seen a dead body? Oh, I'm sorry. Could you have your arms or your hands uncrossed, please?
Oh.
Thank you so much. Have you ever seen a dead body before?
I have.
Okay. Could you describe what that was like?
The experience of actually seeing it was shocking. In retrospect, it's incredibly sad. It was a person on the road that had just been shot by the police, and to just see a dramatic end to a person's life, and to just see how quickly like everybody just kind of moves on, people just drive by, and this person is just now dead laying there. It's absolutely heartbreaking.
What was the context of this day?
It was in Florida. I was at work. I used to work at a place that rented out film equipment, and so we were delivering equipment from Orlando to Miami. I learned in retrospect it had been an armed robbery. He had robbed a gas station or convenience store.
And when you first saw this individual lying there, did you have any judgments about it, that perhaps he deserved it?
I never thought that this person deserved it. I didn't see him with a weapon, so I don't think there's any justification for deadly force.
Does your girlfriend typically go in the car with you on work days?
No, we were planning to move to Los Angeles for grad school, and so she had already quit her job and I was just finishing mine up. And so she just decided to make the day trip with me.
Okay.
So yeah, we were going to a film set, so there's plenty of.
Do you remember like any specific songs that were on the radio or anything like issues you guys were having at the time?
No issues we were having. That I think would have stuck out. On the radio, I know we tried mainly to just kind of listen to NPR.
But you don't remember any topics or anything like that on NPR?
No.
Not at all.
Okay, thank you so much.
course.
Thank you. Hi, Mia.
Hi, Devon.
Devon, nice to meet you.
Nice to meet you.
Have you ever seen a dead body before?
I have.
Okay. Do you remember what sex the body was?
Yeah, it was a male. It was my uncle.
Oh, so sorry. And what was the context of the viewing or the...
He was just in his bed, and I went to go wake him up for breakfast, and when he didn't respond. I didn't realize he was dead until I went back to my aunt to eat breakfast, and a few minutes passed, and then she went back to check on him and realized it.
What prompted you to check on him? Was you were like, where is he? Did he oversleep or?
No, I was just helping my aunt out in the kitchen, and then she just told me to grab him. We just figured he was sleeping in.
Was it a school day?
No, it was during a break, I believe.
I see. Like, so some type of like Thanksgiving or Christmas spring holiday.
Yeah, it's maybe spring break.
Interesting. And do you recall what like transpired afterwards? What was the chain of events?
My aunt, of course, was freaking out, and she told me to grab the phone for her, and she met me at the door so I wouldn't go in. And she called 911. A few minutes later, some medics and a coroner came.
Oh, wow. That sounds very dramatic.
It's weirder looking back on it now.
Yeah, no doubt. If you were 7, and how old are you now?
I'm 26.
Were you shocked to find him or just in denial or disbelief?
Yeah, I guess I was in disbelief. I kind of figured that like, oh, well, he might seem dead, but there's medical people here now, so maybe he'll be okay. And then my parents came to pick me up. My dad asked me a bunch of questions about it.
It was your father's or your mother's uncle? Or
My dad's brother.
what did he say when he arrived?
He just focused on talking to his sister and asking about what was going on and asking basically anybody he could what happened.
How old was your uncle at the time?
I wasn't super close to him, and I didn't pay attention to age much, but somewhere in his 30s.
Oh, wow, that's quite young. Do you recall what eventually they figured out that he died from? Or?
It was a heart attack.
Wow, that's so young. Was he generally healthy or?
I guess mid-range.
When he passed, did you have any thoughts or ideas about what the afterlife might be like?
I had been to a couple funerals prior to that, and so I kind of just bought whatever I was told.
What transpired after that?
We were driving back to the hotel. My dad was asking about why I hadn't kind of figured that out sooner, I guess. My young self was like, oh God, I'm in trouble for not realizing that he was dead at the time.
Okay, thank you so much.
Thank you.
Okay, hi Mia, nice to meet you.
Hi, I'm Nate.
Hi Nate. Have you ever seen a dead body before?
I have.
Could you just describe the circumstances for me around that, please?
Yeah, I was on a run and I looked off to the side of the path and I saw what I found out was a dead person.
Did you smell anything around that when you discovered that?
It mostly smelled like water. I think it rained the night before.
Did you have any initial thoughts about it?
It took me a second to realize what I was looking at. And then afterwards, I got really scared and it took me a minute to calm down. And then when I calmed down, I called the police.
Were you running on a trail or a
Yeah,
road? Or?
it's a hiking trail up by Griffith Park.
How old are you now?
I'm 28.
And I see. How old were you at the time of the incident?
This was 3 years ago, so I was maybe 28, 24, 25.
What would draw you into being attracted to run in that particular space?
It's just very outdoorsy, I guess. It's kind of like a nature hike.
Was there anything that interested you about this man's story? How did he get there? Was he murdered?
No,
What was he doing? Or
I eventually figured out, or I learned what had happened to him. He fell off the path and hit his head and then kind of froze in the middle of the night, essentially.
did this raise any issues emotionally for you? Or did you have to get therapy? Or
Yes. At the time, I was very scared. I had not seen a dead person before. Afterwards, when I was there the next day to sign some stuff, they actually suggested I talk to somebody, and I ended up seeing them for about 2 months.
And if I asked you today, what are your thoughts about that experience and your relationship to it, what would you say?
It's not pleasant to think about still.
Is there anything that triggers it? Like you won't think about it for a while and then you'll see something on the news or you get triggered by it?
No, but I haven't been to that trail since.
Did you follow this in the media, or were you getting your information primarily from the officers who investigated the scene, or?
I asked them about it. They told me just kind of like the facts. That's how I found out about the head injury, and then I ended up finding his obituary sometime after that.
Did you ever reach out to his family, or did they reach out to you?
No.
Have you ever had any curiosity about who he was connected to, or his story, or?
I did, but I thought it'd be best if I didn't try and pursue that.
Alrighty, thank you so much.
Thank you.
Actually, at this point, I'm not sure exactly who's telling the truth. Pretty difficult to tell with this group.
All right, bring in the lineup. You all look suspicious. Great. Let's just go right down the line. Hello, how are you?
I'm good, how are you?
Good. So let's just start fresh. You tell me just a little bit about your experience with seeing a dead body.
Okay, so basically I went to check in on my uncle, like knock on his door to wake him up when I was 7. He didn't really respond. I didn't think anything of it. And I was like, all right, we'll see you at breakfast. And went back, and then a few minutes later my aunt found that he was in fact dead, and I hadn't realized.
Now, what did your aunt do when she found him?
She kind of raised her voice to try to wake him up a few times, and then called me to grab the phone and bring it to her so she could call the police.
Got it. Were you particularly close with your uncle?
No, not really.
Where was this?
This was in Salem, Oregon.
Oh, so you were visiting family for how long?
It was originally just supposed to be a week,
And then
death happened.
it got cut short. What was kind of like the thing for you that stood out about this experience? Besides the death, besides the big one.
I can't say there was anything particularly strange other than that.
That death.
Yeah,
that
and then
makes sense.
and then seeing other people's reaction to death.
I think I'm good.
Okay.
Thank you very much. Thank you for your time. Next, how's it going?
It's okay.
All right. So yeah, why don't you just give me a quick little top line of your experience?
I was on a run on a hiking path, and I looked over into a ditch, and I saw a dead guy.
Where was this run? In Los Angeles?
Yeah, it was in Griffith Park.
And the dead guy was in a bush, on the track, where?
It was like down a couple feet from the path and like hunched up next to a tree.
How long ago was this?
About 3 years ago.
What time of day?
This was really early in the morning. I was trying to do like a morning run.
You went for a morning run. How long into the run was this?
Right away.
Right away?
Yeah, I got to the place, I parked, I walked up a hill, I picked the path I was gonna go on, and then maybe like 5 minutes into it, I saw the guy.
How do you think he died?
Oh, he died of blunt force trauma and hypothermia.
Interesting.
Yeah, like he fell, he hit his head, and then got hypothermia.
What did you do when you found him?
I panicked.
Right.
And after like a minute or two, I kind of caught my breath and then called the police.
Got it. How long did it take for the police to get to the park?
Not that long, like maybe like 5-10 minutes.
This was what time of year?
This was January.
I think I'm good. Thank you very much. How are you?
I'm doing well, how are you?
I'm pretty good. So why don't you give me a quick little summary?
Sure. So I was making a drive from Miami to Orlando for work,
Got it.
and I saw a man shot by the cops. I didn't see the bullets go in, but I definitely saw the aftermath.
So you were driving,
Yes, I was on the highway.
and you were in the car. Where was the guy?
He was sort of weaving in and out of traffic on foot,
Got it.
and the cops were pursuing him.
So what happened after he died? Did you drive off, or did traffic resume, or
Yes.
did you?
Yeah, terrifyingly quickly. He died sort of in the far right lane, so traffic was routed around him. But he was laying there. They don't cover the body like you imagine them to, and it was raining.
Where were you headed?
We were headed back to Orlando. I worked for a company that rented out film equipment, and most of the work happened in Miami. It was at Michael Bay's Pain and Gain. We were driving down to deliver a few lights. We were on our way back up. So it must have been sometime in the afternoon because we had to be down there at 7 a.m.
I think I'm good.
Good.
Yeah, no, it won't make you relive that anymore.
No, it's fine.
Thank you.
Yeah.
I think I'm pretty sure about who's telling the truth.
Well, this task was challenging. I believe it's probable that Dan is the one who's telling the truth.
I agree. This has been spectacularly difficult to determine. I think it's Nate.
My instinct was to pay attention to body language, so I'm going to have to go with Dan.
Can the person who was telling the truth please raise their hand?
I mean, sad, I'm sorry.
Dan's reaction, physically speaking, psychologically speaking, was realistic. I mean, he seemed to be affected by the memory a little bit. Devon, on the other hand, seemed a little cold and detached. Nate, almost laid it on a little too thick.
With Dan, I felt that maybe I didn't get a good enough feel for the reaction of his girlfriend in the car and the events that transpired afterwards. But yeah, I kept going back and forth and I made the wrong decision.
I actually narrowed it down to Devon and Dan. For me, Devon's story was the simplest, and it came down to the time that has passed since the story and her inability to recount small, strange details. I feel like it's something that really would have been solidified there, especially around situations that stick out in your memory.